യാഹന്നാ ദൈവമെന്നിടയനവോ യാതൊരു കുറവുമില്ലെനിക്കിനിയും.
Seven hours is a ridiculously short time to know someone before you have to marry them. 7 hours. But this is 98.7, remember? And this is India. A place where the sun shines hot, but relationships can feel cold. My mum stands tall on her wedding day, with flowers in her hair, henna on her hands, and hope in her eyes. She is 22 years old and glimmers under the weight of all the gold. How much gold do you need to wear until you are recognized as having intrinsic worth? She's been taught to prepare for this day from birth, learned how to please others, cook, clean, and run a household. Every decision in her life has been completely controlled by those around her. People told her the wedding day would be the greatest day of her life. She's been raised to always dream of becoming a bride and taught that what God has joined together, no man can divide. They said that finding a husband would complete her, and that if she just listened and obeyed and prayed and stayed devoted, then she'd be happy. And so she played along and did whatever she was told. My mum and dad both crammed into this restricting mold of a life that was picked out prematurely. I assume they must have known deep down that this was not the person they wanted, and this was not the life they wanted. Yet still they allowed their true potential and ambitions to be squashed and bent into place. So concerned with saving face and what others will think. So my mother learns how to shrink and fit herself into her role. Because people are like puzzle pieces. And despite what should have happened in an ideal world with ideal people, my mother and my father will never fit. But what's done is done. She married my dad. And so now any other dreams my mother may have had get tightly squeezed up in her Samsonite suitcase and follow her to London, where she goes to chase my dad and the great British dream.
Set them free from original sin.
Roots are established here. The suitcase of dreams gets tidied away to the loft, and they allow the rest of their lives to get spun out in front of them like silk, year after year. Then my sisters and I were born. We, the three legs of a tripod, are used to help stabilize and validate their marriage. Growing up, it almost felt to us like our parents had surrendered their old life and all their old ways in exchange for a British passport and days spent in a semi-detached house with a white picket fence and a back garden. Suddenly, all these customs and this rich, colourful culture starts to harden. and sheds like old skin. For my mum realised early on that in order to survive, she had to make herself as malleable as possible. This is England, remember, love? And so she needs to acclimatise, assimilate, and above all, hide certain parts of herself so that she can blend in. And so now she begins to mispronounce her own name so that it can fit on tongues more easily, and she feels shame whenever her native accent slips out. A bride among prejudice. She replaces her truffles with Reeboks. However, sometimes a wisp of Indian culture escapes from its captivity and triumphantly seeps into my memory. Leftover masala stored in the Viennetta ice cream tub, eating curry with her hands as she sat in the pub, her pashmina tied around her Levi's, serving us turkey dinosaurs alongside our biryani rice. Carom board game pieces stored where the shortbread biscuits used to be, watching Bend It Like Beckham on DVD with her 3 brown Brit girls as they all try to fit in this slumdog eat dog city where just their skin colour alone is enough to make them stand out. Mother Mowgli raising us free with this strange blend of backgrounds. They are the souvenirs of her past, the only baggage she carries across the ocean as she navigates the in-between. Aspects of India clung to her like a turmeric stain on her fingers and refused to be scrubbed clean. And so she eats, prays, and waits for love. For 13 whole years. They both knew the deal. Love was just a state of mind you forced yourself to feel. You should lay the foundations first. A mortgage, house, and baby. And then eventually maybe, just maybe, you'll one day wake up and see that feeling of love you've seen in books, songs, and TV would finally get delivered to your address. I expect she must have just woken up one day and finally realised that she'd been wearing an ill-fitted life this whole time. Rebellion would not be easy. The road would be windy and long, filled with judgment, scandal, and shame. This wasn't hers. This had never belonged to her and would never quite fit. So she made the choice to return it and go seeking her match. Something tailor-made to her measurements that she could make from scratch. At long last, she begins disrobing the sorrow she'd been wrapped up in for so long, unpeels the life that had never belonged. And with that brave decision, her metamorphosis was complete. My mother was told many things, and she chose not to pass on this advice to us. Instead, she taught us. What you're feeling is not a lack of an identity, but an abundance. Weave with 2 fabrics instead of 1. Adorn yourself in a tapestry of cultures and lifestyles. Take comfort in this clumsy patchwork quilt and make it your proud home. There's no such thing as can't. Yes, you can. Why can't you? I did. You can too. Never underestimate your own strength. Don't you know that a butterfly's wings, when unfurled, are powerful enough to change the other side of the world?